Okay, here is the complete pump, and to go over like the fine points from the prototype on the pumping chamber. What we want, the whole back surface is a completely flat surface, and the section of it behind the pumping chamber here is as thin as possible, so the gap between the impeller and the drive magnet stays as thin as possible. And then the same thing for the back surface behind the four mounting magnets. To have that as thin as possible, so the gap is as small as possible, so it's as strong as possible. And then that's the same for the motor side. But on the motor side, the center could be open. And inside the motor retaining ring, it could have a little collar right at the base, and then this could be extended so when it's inserted all the way, it hits a stop so that the drive magnet is just below the surface, so it could never touch the fish tank. And the same for the four mounting magnets, that this section of plastic should be as thin as possible to keep the gap as small as possible so it stays on nice and strong. And the rest of the ring would be thick enough like the prototype, so this is pretty strong. Now the end cap on the motor, if we could add a little tiny tactical push button switch, like a momentary contact switch or actually push on, push off switch, so you could turn it on and off at the pump. And then the wire going to the power supply, at the end of the wire, if it has one of these little secure 2-pin jacks, these seem the most, they make very secure contact, and that way the motor unit could be replaced without having to change the power supply. But I think these 2-pin jacks are the most secure. The power jacks I've had problems with, so I think this is best. And then the power supply port is a standard 3 to 12 volt adjustable power supply, and then when it controls the pump, like this would be too strong for a little tank. They could run it on 9 volts, or 7.5 volts, or 6 volts. But, you know, it gives the pump the flexibility. And that's basically everything except for the front of the pump, where I have this large ring on it. I tried to adapt the dome to fit on here, so I used these 2 big rings. But really, all that's needed is one tiny ring on the front that will accept the dome. So it's a little ring that fits this, so this fits on the front. And then this is the replaceable cartridge. They change it every month. And that's the input side. And then on the output side, we need the inside diameter of the tube to accept all of our plumbing kit and fountains. And that's basically everything. All right.